Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well-informed. We tackle big ideas and really distill them into actionable insights for you.
And today, we're diving into a philosophy that's pretty challenging. It promises to redefine success and how we even think about ambition.
That's right. We're looking at some powerful excerpts from Grant Cardone's 10X rule. He actually calls it the holy grail for getting extraordinary results, in pretty much any area of life.
It's a bold claim.
It is. So our mission today is to unpack this 10X thinking in action. We want to help you move beyond just average expectations and understand what, according to Cardone, really guarantees those remarkable outcomes.
We'll do it efficiently, respecting your time, leaving you informed, and maybe, just maybe, a bit fired up.
Okay, so let's start with the core idea. What is the 10X rule, fundamentally?
At its heart, it sounds simple, almost deceptively so. It's about setting targets that are 10 times what you initially think you want.
10 times. That's a lot.
Exactly. And then crucially, committing to do 10 times the action you think it will take to hit those huge targets. It's about shifting from, let's say, normal thoughts to massive thoughts, and then following up with massive actions.
So it's not just think bigger.
No, not at all. What's fascinating is Cardone's argument that we're basically programmed by society to underestimate. We underestimate the effort needed, the resources, the time, everything.
So he set goals that are too small from the start.
Precisely. We kind of sabotage ourselves without even realizing it because we don't challenge that default underestimation.
Okay, that makes sense. But then he introduces this idea of a domination mentality. And I have to admit, that word domination, it sounds aggressive, right? Maybe even a bit ruthless.
Yeah, it can definitely sound that way initially.
So how does he frame it? Is it about crushing competitors or is it something else?
That's a really important distinction he makes. He emphasizes it's not about dominating people or being unethical. It's about dominating your market, your field.
Through what means?
Through superior execution, superior visibility, superior value. The idea is by becoming the undisputed leader, by setting such a high standard, you actually elevate the whole sector.
So it forces everyone else to step up their game.
Exactly. You inspire, you innovate. It's about outserving, outthinking, outperforming. It means being willing to take actions that might seem unreasonable to others just because they don't grasp the sheer scale of your 10X ambition.
Okay, that clarifies it. So let's bring this back to you, listening right now. Have you ever looked back maybe at a past project or goal and thought, man, I really aimed too low?
Or maybe I just didn't put in nearly enough effort to make it happen.
Because this leads to a really unsettling concept from the book. Average is a failing formula.
Right. What society often deems acceptable or normal effort, Cardone argues, just doesn't work anymore, not in today's world.
It's not just that average isn't great. It's that it's actually risky.
The numbers he uses really drive this home. Think about the average worker, reads maybe less than one book a year, works about 37.5 hours a week. Now compare that to top CEOs. Many read like 60 books a year or more, and they make, get this, over 300 times more money.
Wow.
Now the point isn't to stir up resentment, but to highlight the massive disparity in the level of action and its direct correlation with rewards. Average effort just doesn't lead to average success anymore. Often, it means falling behind.
He gives that example of Howard Schultz at Starbucks, doesn't he? During the 2008 crisis.
Yes! That's a great illustration. While everyone else was cutting back, pulling in their horns,
Schultz is doing the opposite.
Totally. He was traveling the country, meeting Starbucks customers late at night, like 9 p.m. after his regular day. That's definitely greater than average thinking and action.
And the strategic thinking behind it, while competitors contract, things like ad rates might drop, maybe top talent is available.
Exactly. By moving against the grain, expanding when others retreated, he wasn't just being brave, he was strategically leveraging the downturn. Starbucks, selling coffee, not exactly essential, kept growing.
That point about average action, just not accounting for real-world chaos, that really hits home for me. You start something, think you've planned well, then the first unexpected thing happens, a competitor makes a move, the economy dips.
And suddenly you're derailed because you didn't factor in enough buffer, enough sheer force of effort.
Yeah, Cardone emphasizes you will face resistance, competition, employee issues, lawsuits, market swings, even just apathy.
He even mentions losing years of effort himself because he got complacent, started resting on his laurels, not operating at 10X.
It really makes you pause and think, doesn't it? Where in your own life, right now, might average effort actually be putting you at risk?
To make this clearer, Cardone outlines 4 distinct degrees of action. It's a simple framework.
Okay, what are they?
1, do nothing. 2, retreat, actively move away from goals. 3, take normal levels of action. And 4, take massive action.
And we all probably use these different levels in different parts of our lives, right?
Absolutely. But it's that 3rd degree normal levels of action that he flags as the most dangerous.
Why dangerous? It sounds normal. Acceptable.
That's precisely why it's dangerous. Because it's acceptable, it lulls you into a false sense of security. It creates an average life, which feels okay.
Until things change.
Exactly. The moment conditions shift, market changes, personal crisis, whatever that normal level isn't enough, and it leads to stress, uncertainty, often failure. It's the path of least resistance leading to the least reward.
So massive action is the goal. What does that look like?
What's really interesting and kind of counterintuitive is that massive action is the level that actually creates new problems.
New problems. That doesn't sound good.
But paradoxically, these new problems are indicators of progress. They mean you're pushing boundaries, entering new territory, growing. Success, real lasting success, comes from operating consistently at that high level, constantly creating and solving these progress problems.
Okay, that reframes it. So maybe take a quick, honest look. Which degree of action are you applying most often in the important areas of your life?
It's a useful self-assessment.
So if average is failing and normal is dangerous, where do we start? Cardone says it begins with the goals themselves, 10x goals.
Right. He argues a huge reason people fail isn't lack of talent. It's that the goals are just too small.
Too small. How does that lead to failure?
Small goals don't generate real excitement. They don't compel you to take the massive action needed for big breakthroughs. They feel achievable with normal effort, which we just said is dangerous.
So the advice is?
Set goals that are just out of reach. Goals that genuinely excite you, maybe even scare you a little. And this is key. Write them down daily, not just January 1st.
Daily. Why daily?
To keep them top of mind, to constantly reinforce the scale of your ambition. He shares his own examples, like, I own 5,000 plus apartments, or my net worth is over $100 million.
Those are definitely big.
They're monumental. And the insight is when you set a goal that audacious, it forces you to think differently. You can't achieve that with normal strategies. You have to find new solutions, operate at a completely different level.
Okay, big goals. But sustaining the effort, that takes serious drive. And Cardone has a provocative take here. Obsession is a gift.
Yeah, society often paints obsession negatively, right? Like it's unbalanced or unhealthy.
Definitely. We talk about work-life balance, mindfulness.
But Cardone challenges that. He says it's actually a natural human state. Look at kids, they get completely absorbed, obsessed with things.
That's true. So he's saying this intense focus, this obsession, isn't a flaw, but the engine for extraordinary results.
Pretty much. He argues that it's vital. The people who are truly consumed by their ideas, those are the ones who break through barriers. Often, other people just kind of get out of their way.
Does he offer any guardrails, though? Or is it just full throttle obsession? Because balance is such a common piece of advice.
That's a fair question. For Cardone, the guardrail seems to be the nature of the obsession. It needs to be channeled towards something constructive, something significant, often market dominating, not just a random fixation.
So purpose-driven obsession.
Yes, maybe that's a good way to put it. It's being so consumed by your mission that the distractions fade, and that singular focus lets you out-execute everyone. It's less about burnout, more about igniting a drive most people don't tap into.
Okay. Then there's go all in and overcommit. We know the all-in poker analogy.
Right, pushing all your chips in. But he clarifies, in life, your energy, your creativity, they aren't limited chips. You can go all in again and again.
And he flips the usual advice, doesn't he? The whole undercommit and over-deliver thing.
Completely rejects it. He advocates the opposite, overcommit and then over-deliver.
Why? What's the logic there?
The idea is that overcommitting compels you, and maybe your team, to perform at a higher level. It creates necessary pressure. If you're promoting a huge Broadway show, you don't downplay it, right?
No, you hype it up. Spectacular cast, unforgettable night.
Exactly. You promise the moon, and then you work like crazy to deliver the moon and maybe a few stars. It forces you to rise to the occasion you created.
But isn't there a huge risk? What if you overcommit and then can't deliver? That could kill your reputation.
He argues the act of overcommitting is what forces you to find solutions, get creative, hustle harder. The expectation to overdeliver on top of that ensures you push past the commitment. It basically forces you into 10x mode from the start, rather than letting you play it safe.
It's definitely a high wire act.
Yeah.
Okay, another really counterintuitive one, especially when things get tough economically, expand, never contract.
Yeah, this goes against every instinct to batten down the hatches during a downturn. For Cardone, contraction is just a form of retreat.
He shares his own story here, right? During a recession.
A powerful one. Instead of cutting back like everyone else, he did something radical. He actually cut his own salary.
We would invest more in the business.
Exactly. More advertising, more marketing, more staff. And the result? He massively expanded his footprint, his market share, while competitors were weakened.
So in 18 months,
Yeah.
what did he achieve?
Get this. Published 3 books, launched 4 new sales programs, produced 700 training segments, did 600 radio interviews. It was immense.
And the logic is, again, leveraging market weakness. Cheaper ads, available talent.
Precisely. It's a strategic power play to dominate when the field is less crowded and potentially less aggressive.
Okay, let's talk about fear. He calls it the great indicator.
Right. The idea is fear isn't a stop sign. It's actually a green light. It signals you're pushing boundaries.
Uses that FEAR acronym too, right? False events appearing real.
Mm-hmm. Highlighting that most of the things we worry about just don't happen.
But still, facing fear, it feels like our instinct is to back away. How do you actually use it as a green light?
The key advice is starve fear of its favorite food. And its favorite food is time.
Meaning?
Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Act immediately. Afraid to call that challenging client. Pick up the phone right now. Hesitating on a launch. Do it this week.
So speed disarms fear.
In a way, yes. And the marketplace tends to respond positively to those who seem fearless because they take consistent, decisive action. It's not about not feeling fear. It's about acting despite it, quickly.
Then there's assumed control for everything. This sounds like radical responsibility.
It is. It's the fundamental belief that success happens because of you, not to you. You have to take ownership for everything, the good, the bad, the ugly.
So no excuses, no victim mentality.
Absolutely none. Cardone sees excuse-making as a direct path to inaction and prevents you from finding solutions. He even frames not reaching your potential as an ethical issue because you're not taking full responsibility.
Wow, okay. And the last big principle we'll cover, omnipresence.
This is ambitious. It's the goal of being everywhere all the time so your name or brand becomes synonymous with what you offer.
Like his personal goal?
Yeah.
What was it?
For 6 billion people to know his name when they think of sales training.
That's thinking big doesn't even cover it.
Right. But setting a goal that massive automatically shapes every single decision you make about visibility and action.
How did he pursue that?
Relentlessly. YouTube, blogs, articles, those hundreds of radio interviews, TV appearances, eventually getting his own show. Even when he had no connections, no clear path, he just kept putting content out.
Even when people complained about the volume.
Especially then. He increased his output, more posts, more emails. And eventually, he says, the complaints turned into admiration for his persistence and ubiquity. It's about making it impossible for your target audience not to encounter you.
That really prompts a question for you listening. What would omnipresence look like for your work, your mission? It forces a different scale of thinking.
Definitely.
Okay, let's quickly touch on a few other key traits that align with this 10X philosophy. These are more like foundational mindsets.
Sure. First, persist until successful. It's not just about being gritty. It's recognizing that resistance is part of the process. Don't try to eliminate it. Just keep pushing until it either breaks or turns into support.
Then be unreasonable. We talked about this a bit.
Yeah, acting outside of accepted norms, because those norms are often limitations, traps that prevent market domination. What looks unreasonable to others might just be what's necessary for a 10X goal.
But how do you know if you're being productively unreasonable versus just reckless?
I think it comes back to the framework. Recklessness often lacks that clear, massive 10X goal. Unreasonable 10X action is purposeful. It's driven by that huge objective and backed by the commitment to 10X effort. So it's about the intent and the scale behind the action.
Got it. What else?
Always say yes. Essentially, be open to opportunities, new experiences. Use no sparingly. Yes opens doors, creates connections, pushes you forward.
And being highly ethical. But he defines that differently too.
Yes, it's not just about not doing bad things. It's proactively fulfilling commitments, living up to your absolute full potential, and providing security for the people you care about, family, team, customers. It's an ethic of duty and potential.
That really broadens the concept of ethics, doesn't it? It implies underachieving is almost unethical.
In his framework, yes. Because you're not fulfilling your potential, you're not fully serving those who rely on your success. Your 10x pursuit becomes a kind of moral imperative to provide value and security.
And finally, reach up in relationships.
Right. Consciously surround yourself with people who are smarter, more successful, better connected, people who pull you up. Rather than staying comfortable with those at or below your level, it's about strategic growth through association.
So putting it all together, 10x isn't just a strategy for getting rich or famous.
No, as we've explored, it's presented as much more almost a guide to fulfilling an ethical duty, a responsibility to realize your potential and make a real impact. It starts with recognizing that average just isn't enough anymore.
So let's leave you with this final thought to chew on. If success truly is your duty, your obligation, your responsibility, what unreasonable 10x goal will you set today?
And more importantly, what massive action will you take, like right now, immediately, to start pursuing it, regardless of the fear or resistance you might feel?
That's all for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time.